Facebook. How are you guys? Happy Saturday. Tomorrow's Super Bowl Sunday. And I'm going to do a video on a topic that I think is important. And I thought of doing this video after doing one of my coaching calls with someone in my boot camp. We were talking about employee pay. And I realized I don't think I've broke this down for people before. I think it's really interesting. So I'm going to do a little whiteboarding session here in just a couple minutes. I'm going to grab my Sharpie. It's not really a Sharpie, it's a whiteboard thing. How you guys doing? How's your Saturday going? You guys doing well? I don't know why I can't see comments, but I know there's a bunch of people in here. That's okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get my Sharpie thing ready. There we go. Jason, how you doing, Jason? Hey, Michael Gregory, what's up, my brother? Hey, Drew, how are you? Now, this is a big deal what I'm going to share with you. So if you have the time, or you can go back and watch it if you don't have time, but pay attention because I think this is really cool and I think we missed this. So I was talking to someone and we were talking about employee pay. And so there's a creative way to pay your people that I think is way more effective, that creates massive more value for your employees that maybe you haven't thought of before, okay? So what I want to do is I want to give you a story of two companies. And these companies are the same thing, they offer the same services, but they pay their employees totally differently. So let's say we have company A. I'm going to just flip. Oh, there's my wife left me a note on my whiteboard. That's right, Jesus. Jesus is the answer. We're going to have church. No, we don't have church right now, but I love that. That's why my wife's awesome. So let's say we have company A. Okay, can you guys see that? We got company B. And they both are service companies, right? So they pay technicians to clean stuff for people, for example. If you have a lawn care company or something, it's the same kind of thing. And let's say that for a lead technician, we have an available budget of, let's just say, $40,000 a year to pay our people. Okay? I'm not going to get crazy detailed on the math here, but I want to make some really interesting points that I think are epic. Okay? Here's the deal. For me, when I coach people, I teach them that we want to keep the technician's payroll at 40% of revenue or less. Right? So let's say that your crews generate a two-person crew, two people in a truck. Let's say they make you $100 an hour total revenue. We want their total pay to be $40 an hour. Now, when we do this, though, this is a side tangent, then I'm going to get to my main point. When we look at that, right, in my fake example, let's say they generate $100 an hour. That means we can only pay $40 an hour. But first, we have to minus out our withholding tax and all the other costs to carry. These are called carry costs. So let's pretend, and it varies by state to state, just to keep it really simple, even though it's going to be more than this, we'll say that it's 10% and withholding tax and whatever else, right? And it's usually more than that. But I just want to make it simple for myself. So that leaves us $36 an hour to pay out to these two humans who are driving around cleaning stuff for you. And so what we want to do is we want to figure out, how do we divide this up? And how do we divide it up in a way that gives us maximum value as a company? And so what I did, and I've paid everybody so many different ways. I think every way from the sun I've tried pay. I mean, we've done commission, we've done hourly, we've done salary, we've done hybrids, we've done all kinds of weird things. But here's what we ultimately decided to do in the end that I thought was great. And you can just take the nuggets you like out of this. What we did is we would pay the crew leader 65%, and then the assistant, that's hilarious, 35%, right? And the reason we did this was it created like a carrot. So when we'd have guys in a truck, we'd have the assistants, the guys with less experience, and they would get way less money than the crew leader. And the crew leader, all it was, like, they worked side by side, they did the same job, but the crew leader had more responsibility, and we made it a big deal to be promoted to a crew leader. So it wasn't just the pay, but the benefits package. Like assistants, people that were at the lowest level that were just coming in, they got very low pay, they didn't get a lot of perks, but there's a constant conversation about, hey, if you're the top performer, if you can give us a season, if you can show us that you're the man, then you get your own truck and you get to be a crew leader. And so we were really public about how epic it was to be a crew leader, to have your own truck, to run your own crew. And so we paid the crew leaders a lot and we paid the assistants very little. And that did a couple things for us. Number one, it made the crew leader get a really nice living wage. And it made it easier to retain crew leaders, because what will happen is if you have two guys in a truck and you pay them the same exact amount, usually one of them is like better or they work harder and they feel like they're not getting rewarded, right? So we heavily rewarded the top producers by making them a crew leader, and then we put a brand new trainee with them. They would go through a normal training process and stuff. But then at our weekly meetings and things, we would always talk about how you can get your own truck. You can get your own truck if you're the top. You know, next year we're going to have 2 new trucks. And if you're the man, if you're the woman, if you're awesome, you get that. But I want to get to the essence of my point here. And the point is that if you build a pay package for someone and you say, hey, you can make $40,000 a year. Like, that's cool, okay? But there's a better way to do it. And I call it decommoditizing your job position. And what I mean is how do you make your company unique? How do you take the 40,000 that you have available in a fake example here? How do you break that up so that you get maximum yield out of the person doing the work, right? Because these are super important job positions. If you look at an organizational chart for a service company, you got like the owner, and then you got like maybe 3 department heads, and you have like crew leaders and stuff. But the crew leaders have, you know, employees under them, and all the people at the bottom layer of your organization, they're the ones producing all the revenue. So the way that your pay structure is set up is super, super, super important, because we want to keep them motivated. We want to keep them their eyes open to opportunities. And I would always tell people, hey, when we hire you, we're hiring you for your back, for your labor, but I want your brain thrown in. So here's what we did. We would figure out what the total amount we could pay was, and then we would break it off, crew leader to assistant, and then we would break out monthly, quarterly, and annual bonus structures, okay? But we would account for it in our accounting, right? So rather than give them $40,000 a year, we would give them a smaller hourly rate, but I would factor in a way to pay them every month a little goodie, every quarter a little goodie, and then every year at the end of the year a goodie for staying until the end of the year. And so it made our job offering more sticky. It made it more sticky, okay? And the other thing we did was I put in my actual pay budget what I call planned, this is a huge gold nugget, randomness. Planned randomness. Now, what is planned randomness? What it is, it's really cool, unexpected things that you do for your staff, right? Whether it's sporting tickets or an hour massage gift certificate for your employee and their spouse or their girlfriend or boyfriend. It's gas cards, gift cards, steak dinner stuff, right? Like date night stuff. Like anything creative that is relevant to that particular employee. We would do this through the whole course of the year, and it feels random to the person receiving it. They just feel like, wow, this company's amazing. Like every 30 days, like I just get some random bonus, and you do it privately, and you pull them in your office, and it's like, hey, John, you're doing a great job. And I just want you to know that I see you. Like I recognize what you're doing, you know. And I have these Detroit Lions tickets, which are probably worthless because of Lions. Anyway, that's a different story. I have these Detroit Lions tickets. I know you're a big fan. Hey, why don't you take them, right? That's planned randomness. But we would account for all the planned randomness and all the bonus structures by figuring out what our max spend was per employee, right? And so if you have a seasonal business, figure out how many total hours per annum, what a fancy word, your employees work. So if they work like 36 weeks or 42 weeks, figure out how many hours it is. Like maybe it's 1,500 hours, and they're going to generate X amount of dollars in revenue, right? And then take how much revenue they'll generate during the hours they work during your season, and multiply it by 40%, right? In my example, and that gives you a total amount of money you can pay out. But don't just take the total and turn it into an hourly pay structure or a salary, you want to minus out all this stuff. So for example, if you're doing a monthly bonus, let's say that you're going to give someone $500 a month as a bonus opportunity. What you do is you figure out how many dollars per hour that monthly $500 equals. So if they work 40 hours a week, let's see, I'm going to do bad math right here. They work 160 hours a month, right? And let's say that you're going to give them $800 a month bonus, right? So that would mean it was like 50 cents an hour or something, right? No, wait, no, it would be like $5 an hour. 160 times 5 would be 5 to 900, whatever it is. Let's say it's $2 or $3 or $4 an hour. And you figure that out and you like account for the $3 per hour that's going to be unlocked. Like the monthly bonus is going to account for $3 an hour. So you subtract that from their base hourly. Now you don't have to make this complicated for people either, but you want to, let's say the quarterly bonus equals, $2 an hour, but you're basically saving that $2 an hour for the whole quarter up. You're saving it up. It's like a forced savings account for the employee that is unlocked. And you use this stuff, all this stuff, you use this. Why do you do this? Well, you do it to decommoditize your offering, but you also do it to drive particular behaviors. Okay, the whole point of this is to drive particular behavior. So ask yourself, what is the biggest employee pain point that you have right now? Is it people not showing up on time? They come in 5 minutes late and it's becoming a real problem? Is it that they don't have a good attitude? You can attach their monthly or quarterly or annual bonus to attitude. You can attach all these little payouts, these little nuggets, these forced savings accounts. You can attach them to the behavior you want to produce. So is it upselling? Do you need more upselling? Do you need people to, hit a certain revenue number because they're always lazy and they always kind of do the bare minimum? Whatever it is, you want to drive the behavior by incentivizing their paycheck with these payouts and these bonuses. And then you use the planned randomness to love on people. But look, you can't just love on people however you want. It has to be part of a master plan, right? It has to be part of a master plan. So even though it felt random to the employee, I knew how much we could spend for each job position, and it was less for assistants, and it was more for crew leaders. But I already knew. I had it all spreadsheeted out. Now, no one knew that spreadsheet existed except me as the leader. And after we grew and we had a general manager and stuff, they knew because they took this over. But we do things like site visits where the operations manager would pop in on a crew unexpectedly, daily. They're rotating through, boom, boom, boom. They just roll up on a crew. They do a little report, but they'd leave them like a gift certificate to get lunch. They'd leave them like a little gift certificate to go to the movies or something. All that stuff is part of our pay budget. But what we did, rather than Company A, who just says, you make X amount of dollars an hour, okay? What we did, we didn't do that. We did all of this. And what it produces is a stronger company culture, and it makes your job position more sticky to the right type of person, right? Hopefully that makes sense. I could literally, if I did this correctly, it would take me an hour to break down the exact math on how to do this the right way. But the general point that I'm trying to make is that these two companies, Company A and B, they're paying out the total amount of dollars. It's equal, right? Crew leaders work really hard. They do a whole season. They make 40 grand. But the way that it feels to be an employee in Company A compared to Company B is totally different. Totally different. Because I'll tell you, one of the big mistakes a lot of you guys make, I'm going to turn the camera around. Hold on. Let me see. One of the big mistakes is that we start people out too high in pay, and they don't have like any room to grow. And so they're super excited at first, and they're so thankful at first. But sure, time and time again, I see this happen, is it becomes their new normal. And if you start people on too high of a pay structure, they're going to get dissatisfied with their job quicker. And so you want to take your job and you want to build a staircase, right? And so if the top max pay, which the max pay would be this 40% of revenue in a service company, right? That needs to be at the top of the staircase, right? This is the top. And you don't have to make this take like 5 years or something for a service labor job. But you want to show them very clearly up front. I know this is backwards. That says bottom, that says top. You want to show them, how do we get from here to here to here to here? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Is that valuable? I hope this is helping you guys. It's a random Saturday. But I think it's important. And you're not spending any more money than the other company. You're taking like 4 hours of your time, and you're getting more strategic and tactical, and the results are insane. Like just looking at it differently can change everything, okay? So I know that this is gold. Hopefully I taught it okay. I'm a little scatterbrained. My mother-in-law has all my kids right now, and my wife is at a Young Life camp being a leader, doing awesome stuff, and I have my kids all weekend, and holy smokes, that's hard. And I don't even have them because my mother-in-law helps me, and I'm cheating. I'm totally cheating. But anyway, that's it. Have a great rest of your weekend. Super Bowl's tomorrow. Go back and rewatch this, and remember, we overthink stuff, right? You don't have to have secret magic fairy dust for your business to work. You don't have to have secret magic fairy dust to make your employees love their job. We just have to think strategically and clever. Just little tiny things. Another thing, I forgot this, okay? With our bonus packages, with the crew leaders, we didn't just say, well, you get this. What we did was we had really weird, unique bonuses for these guys. So they get to plan 3 long weekends every year, and they get to pre-schedule it in the spring. And so whether it's June or the busiest season or whatever, they could plan a whole long weekend off based on seniority up front. It's kind of like an intangible, like what company does that? We'd also give paid vacations, but we'd also, on top of the paid vacations, we'd take like $300 cash, and I always made sure it was actually cash. We would actually pay them. Like they'd have to come to work, and we'd give them 3 $100 bills during or right before their vacation, say, hey, here's some money to spend on your vacation. It's not like it's $1 million. We could just direct deposit it to their account. We could just say, hey, you get $300 bonus. But it feels different when they take 3 $100 bills and you say, look, we care about you. We want you to have the best vacation ever. Here's some money. Don't even care what you spend it on. Just have fun. That's huge. We also gave free hotel getaways to the crew leaders. So they could schedule, I think, 3 or 4. It might have been up to 5. I can't even remember because it's been 2 years since we sold. But it was 3 to 5 hotel nights that we would pay for. That they would book a room in a hotel, kind of anywhere they wanted, like in Michigan or somewhere. And we would cover the tabs so they could take their kids or they could go do something and not have to worry about it. Stuff like that. And then we'd also give a big bonus at the end of the year to stay around. Like if you survive the season, if you're still here when we're done, then you can get up to this if you achieve this and this. And we made it really simple, didn't overcomplicate it. People hang on for that. If they're going to get an extra couple grand by just making it to the end, they're going to hang on, right? And turnover is a big deal in this business. So that's it. I probably have talked too long. Hope you have a great weekend. And this is good with actual tangibles. Jeanette, I'm not sure if you mean physical gifts, maybe? Is that what you're talking about? Like a tangible thing? Like you can give them physical gifts? I don't know. All I know is we don't have to have magic fairy dust. We got to think really creatively. It's really hard to think creatively when you're super stressed. You're going 110 miles an hour, surviving and putting out fire. So I would encourage you each week to give yourself 60 minutes the same day each week, like Tuesday at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Everything's shut off. Everything's shut off. And you only think creatively about how to look at the areas of your business in a new creative way. Like you answer the phone, every company answers the phone. How do you do it better? You give an estimate, you give your pricing, everybody does that. How do you do it better? Doesn't mean you spend $1 million. It means you just think tactically. So that's it. Guys, go, I think I'm rooting for Atlanta in the Super Bowl just because the Patriots always are there every single time, even though they're awesome. They'll probably win. The Lions. Oh, the Lions. Now I'm depressed. Have a great day.